Fast, focused, and fearless. Here's everything you need to know this rush hour of September 5, Thursday. I'm Riza Diaz. Jumpstarting today's rush with BuCor Chief Nick Faeldon leaving his office just hours after he was fired by no less than President Duterte. Maricel Halili with a report.
As the Director General of the Bureau of Corrections, Nicanor Faeldon was largely responsible for the supposed early release of convicted rapist and murderer Antonio Sanchez. The former Calauan mayor is serving a total of 9 counts of reclusion perpetua. Faeldon later claimed he was also the one responsible for stopping Sanchez's release. On Wednesday, President Duterte finally broke his silence after his name got dragged into the affair, and the president said Faeldon has to go.
I am demanding the resignation of Faeldon. Faeldon has to go because Faeldon disobeyed my order.
Duterte ordered the daunting task of bringing back into Bilibid almost 2,000 convicts released through the GCTA law's faulty implementation. The president said he wants the released inmates to surrender. Otherwise, they will be brought back dead or alive.
I will give you 15 days liberty, provided you make yourself available any time that you will be called for investigation to have a recomputation. If you do not, then beginning at this hour, you are a fugitive. 1 million per head kayo, dead or alive.
Duterte also defended his spokesperson and chief legal counsel, Sal Panelo, who was accused of having a hand in the possible release of Sanchez. The existence of Panelo's referral letter to the Board of Pardons and Parole casted doubts on Panelo's innocence, but Duterte backed him up.
Panelo did not commit any infraction or he happened to be a lawyer at the time. Nobody can question. Tama yung ginawa ni Panelo. Just a referral.
In a statement, Faeldon conceded to the chief executive's order, saying that as a Marine, he needs to do what is told. And true enough, the ex-BuCor chief has left his office early this morning. For News 5, Maricel Halili, we are One News.
The Sanchez family is still refusing to pay 12 million pesos worth of damages for the rape slay committed by their patriarch, former Calauan Mayor Antonio Sanchez. But for the mother of one of the victims, the justice they cry for is more than just about money. Ria Fernandez with a story.
Lagi po namin sinasabi, laging paulit-ulit po namin sinasabi, bakit po kami magbabayad? Wala naman pong kasalanan ng aking asawa. Yung sinasabi po nilang araw, pecha na sinabi ni rape si Eileen at pinatay si Alan Gomez. Nasa amin po ang asawa ko.
This was how Elvira Sanchez, wife of rape slay convict Antonio Sanchez, responded when asked why they refused to pay nearly 13 million pesos in damages to the families of her husband's victims, Eileen Sarmenta and Alan Gomez. But Eileen's mother, Clara, tells 1PH they are not after the Sanchez's money.
We don't care kung ayaw nila magbayad. Ang sinasabi lang po namin, ayon sa batas, wala kaming hangad na kahit ano na maging parte ng kanilang pera na sa tingin namin ay hindi nakuha sa
bukod
good,
sa
yes, good way. It's always yung pera nila po ay sa tingin namin ay hindi nakukuha sa magandang paraan.
Sarmenta pointed out the Sanchez family's seeming lack of remorse during the Senate hearing on Tuesday.
Walang sorry. Paano nga, meron mga nagsasabi bakit hindi po ba namin pinatawad si Sanchez? Paano po namin papatawarin? Hindi naman sila humihingi.
Senate President Tito Soto believes some prisoners paid to be released under the Good Conduct Time Allowance or GCTA law. Soto cited intelligence reports he and Senator Panfilo Lacson received.
Napakarami daw pera ang umikot. Milyones daw.
Soto, however, did not identify inmates who benefited from the system, but he said he is certain the president knows about it already. Soto considers presenting the reports on Thursday, when the Senate hearing on the GCTA law's implementation resumes. Lawmakers are also looking to identify the anonymous sender of a text message informing Elvira Sanchez that her husband is set for release. They have called on the communications department to assist.
In case the number that is traced, that sent a text or called the number of Mrs. Sanchez on August 20, in the early hours of August 20, is a prepaid number, still we will be able to find out where it emanated from. My source is very reliable. Secretary lang naman ng DICT.
For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
Another family is also questioning the impending release of another former mayor. That's Daraga Albay's Carlwin Baldo, who's accused of murdering Ako Bicol Party list Congressman Rodel Batucabe. Patricia Mangune will tell us more.
Former Daraga Albay Mayor Carlwin Baldo is set to be released after posting bail of 8 million pesos at the Legazpi City Regional Trial Court. Baldo surrendered in May and is the primary accused in the killing of Ako Bicol Party List Representative Rodel Batucabe in December 2018. The Philippine National Police believes the evidence they submitted in court is enough to make a conviction, but they respect the court's decision in granting bail for Baldo.
We have prepared an airtight case, and we have filed a case against ex-Mayor Baldo. And we believe that the evidences that we have submitted are all strong to merit conviction later.
The Batucabe family questioned the granting of bail despite what they see as overwhelming evidence and testimonies that the former mayor was the mastermind in the murder. They say they are now thinking of citing the judge for grave abuse of authority. In her privileged speech, Aambis OWA Party List Representative Sharon Garin slammed the decision by the judge and said murder should be unbailable. Garin fears that Baldo will use his power to intimidate witnesses. For News 5, Patricia Mangune, We Are One News.
The battle for the enactment of the SOGIE Equality Bill continues as religious groups and gender advocates clash at the Senate hearing on Monday. But it looks like the Senate President himself has made up his mind on the issue. Ria Fernandez is back with this report.
Religious groups say there's nothing wrong with being part of the LGBTQ community, but they say it's a different matter when it comes to passing the Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity or Expression or SOGIE bill. In the second Senate hearing on SOGIE bill, a Christian family advocate said the anti-discrimination bill is one-sided and focused only on feelings.
I cannot point to a fact to say, excuse me, sir, you're really still a male by my understanding, no matter what procedure went through.
A Christian broadcaster also says it may infringe on the freedom of the press.
Our programs speak from the Word of God, which also calls out different conditions of people, including homosexuality. With the SOGIE bill, we will be limited in the exercise of our freedom.
Ansel Beluso of Pro-Life Philippines believes that LGBTQ sexual orientation can still be fixed, just like him who was once gay but is now happily married.
The real path to fullness of life for persons with gender dysphoria, such as the transgenders, is treatment or therapeutic intervention, not genital mutilation or hormone therapy.
But a gender studies professor from UP thinks otherwise.
Decades of scientific research have led mental health professional organizations worldwide to conclude that lesbian, gay, and bisexual orientations are normal variants of human sexuality. LGBTQI rights are human rights.
LGBTQ advocates say the SOGIE bill is not all about feelings. Case in point is KJ Lorenzana's experience at school.
Ano yung suot mo? Lalaki ka ba? Bakit ka nakapang lalaki? Paano ka naging lalaki? Sabi niya po sa akin. Halika nga dito, kapain kita. Salatin kita. Kapag may nakapa ako sa'yo, sige lalaki ka.
But religious groups say heterosexuals can also be victims of discrimination if the bill succeeds. They cited the incident involving trans woman Gretchen Diaz, who was barred by a mall janitress from using a female restroom. The janitress said the women in the toilet were disturbed by the presence of the trans woman. For all the efforts of its author, Senator Risa Ontiveros, Senate President Tito Soto says the SOGIE bill faces an uphill battle.
You know, I hate to say this, but I have to. If you're a man, you will never be a woman. To me, the SOGIE bill is a bill against women's rights.
For News 5, Ria Fernandez, We Are One News.
And here are the biggest stories from the Philippine Star. Hong Kong leader Carrie Lam finally withdraws the extradition bill after it sparked more than 13 weeks of unrest in the Asian financial hub. The measure was earlier suspended in June due to massive protests, but at that time, Lam stopped short of thoroughly scrapping it. Now, though some view Lam's recent move as a positive step, some protesters say it came too little too late. An American woman was held at NAIA yesterday after she attempted to transport a 6-day-old baby to Japan by hiding him in an oversized belt bag. The Immigration Bureau says the 43-year-old woman even tried to hide the baby under a sweater to make it past the final X-ray machine, but this was noticed by an airport employee. The woman is now in the custody of the NBI while her child was turned over to the DSWD. The PNP Highway Patrol Group deploys some 48 police women to help ease traffic along EDSA and other major roads in Metro Manila. The police women underwent a 45-day training on traffic management and motorcycle safety. The HPG says the motorcycle riding female officers can also respond to crimes and other emergencies. Let's fast break now to Sports Rush. Gilas Pilipinas ends the FIBA World Cup 2019 group stage winless after several mistakes cost Angola to slip past our national team with only 3 points in the lead. Paulo Del Rosario with the story.
It is the final day of the group phase in the FIBA Basketball World Cup here in Foshan, where the Gilas Pilipinas men take on Angola in the quest for their first win in the competition. With the Gilas Pilipinas men and Angola winless after their opening games, both teams go hard in the pursuit of their maiden win. Angola has the edge before the payoff period, with the Filipinos still struggling to find their stroke from beyond the arc. The Philippines trailed 61-49 early in the fourth quarter, but battles back to tie the game at 73-all. Gilas gets the last shot in regulation, but a CJ Perez miscue sends the game into overtime. Angola goes up 83-78, but RR Pogoy hits a big triple in the dying moments of the game. Kiefer Ravena gets the last shot of OT, but his potential game-tying bucket is off the mark. Gilas Pilipinas falls to Angola 84-81 in their final group phase game. Andre Blatch regains his scoring touch with 23 points, while rookie Perez finishes with 17.
Of course, we're still disappointed, but at the same time, it's a good feeling that we're able to give ourselves a chance to win the game in the end game. Still kind of frustrating because we're still not able to make our 3-point shots. We're 10 out of 46, it's 22%.
Tough. It was a rough ending for us. Could have won our first game here in the elimination round. We have 2 more games left in Beijing. Pero we're keeping our heads high. If there's something that we could take out of this, we were improving slowly but surely.
Despite their third straight loss, other results fall the Philippines' way. China's loss to Venezuela later in the evening means all Asian nations go into the classification stage, leaving the door open for a possible Olympic berth for the Filipinos. That is it for the Gilas Pilipinas men for the group stage. Up next is the classification round in Beijing. For Foshan, Paulo Del Rosario.
And that's how the day is shaping up to be. Join us again next time for another round of Rush. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.